Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in the series of pattern printing, these two are the next patterns that we are going to print today. So before I start you to explain how I'm going to print these patterns, if you're new to my channel, I would just like to explain you these two functions. I have created a function space which prints n spaces in a row, and another function print which prints numbers starting from start to end, that is a range of numbers in a row. So now let's see how these patterns are to be printed. Now first let's analyze the first pattern. Over here we can see that first the numbers are being printed in increasing order and then the numbers are being printed in decreasing order. And this over here we can break this pattern like this. So up till this part, okay, so in this part the numbers are being printed from 1 to n. We'll just see what our n will be, and in the rest half of the part the numbers are being printed from n minus 1 to 1. Okay, so over here, since we have already created created a function in using which we can print number ranging from start to end. So over here we will have to print 2 times, and for the first function I will be printing my numbers from 1 to a certain number, and then in the second we will be printing from certain number minus 1 up to 1. So let's find what this number n is. Now over here we can see that for the first row n is 1, for the second row n is 2, for the third row n is 3, and so on. So from this we can see that the end element, that is the last element, is equivalent to the current row number. So over here we are going to have I, and over here we are going to have I minus 1, because in the second half of the pattern the starting number is from n minus 1. Also we have to make a little change in our print function. Now let's see what that change has to be. Now over here, if I send 2 and 1, so what will happen? I will be 2 and end will be 1. So as soon as I try to enter this part of the loop won't run because the condition will be false. So over here we'll keep a check that if first of all any number start is less than 0 or end is less than 0, so we are going to print nothing, because if starting or ending is negative then there is no logic in printing anything. Also if my start is greater than end, that means that we have to print it in decreasing order. This loop is printing in increasing order, so over here we'll check if my start is greater than end, we will print it in decreasing order. So over here I'll have my loop which will start from the start and go up till end, but the only difference is over here we'll have minus, and once this is done we'll return. And in case my start is less than end, the numbers will be printed in increasing order. Also over here we will have greater than equal to. So now let's see if this works. See, our pattern has been printed. Now let's see the second pattern. The second pattern is the same pattern, the only difference is that we have to print some amount of spaces for every row. So we are going to copy this part over here, and the only change that we have to do is that we have to print some number of rows. Now let's analyze how many number of spaces are to be printed. Now over here we can see that the total number of characters in a row, that the maximum number of characters in a row is 7 plus 6, that is 13. And this is when our n is equals to 7. Now if my n was 6, then the total number of characters being printed were 11. For 6 it was 11. So from this combination we can analyze that the total number of characters in any row will be twice of n minus 1. So since we know that for each row the total number of characters that are to be printed is twice of n minus 1, and we also know that how many numbers are being printed for each row. So the number of spaces will be the total number of characters being printed minus the total number of numbers being printed. So now let's see how we are going to do this. Over here we know that the numbers are being printed from first 1 to I and then from I minus 1 to 1. So over here I numbers are being printed, and over here I minus 1 numbers are being printed. So in total 2I minus 1 numbers are being printed, and the total number of characters are 2n minus 1. So the number of spaces that are to be printed is this, that is the total number of characters minus the total number of numbers. So over here we'll have 2n minus 1 minus of 2 into I minus 1. So let's run this code. See, our pattern has been printed. So this was all for today's video. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any doubt, you can leave a comment down below. Also, if you want me to solve any specific question, you can leave the question in the comments with the hashtag #CodeMyQuestion. Thank you.